What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great day. I am just literally back from working on the red brick house. Got back home 45 minutes ago, cleaned the dirt off, at least as much as I could in the short time that I had. Cleaned the dirt off and came back down here, started working on stuff for the draft, because now I have shifted out of the red brick house. You know, my wife said, listen, honey, you've been busting ass. I want you to focus in on the draft and getting yourself a good time and everything. And I said, did I say I'm going to Kansas City? Kansas City, here I come. They got the pretty little. She's like, no pretty little girls for you. No, I didn't mean that kind of fun. But she said, you go have fun with your guys and you know, do your whole draft thing with Joe Boo and stuff like that. And so I've been out of the loop. So forgive me. I am now in draft mode, and I have some help from some of my great friends here. You know how we do this. We've been doing this since last year when it was AKA Bitch Fest, because we were bitching about Catboy and Jerry Jones and everything else that was the Dallas Cowboys. But right now, I am so happy. How's everybody doing today? Because we're not bitching today, are we?
Nope.
Nope. I know I got my man Vado in here. I got James Nooks up in here. I got Edward Strickland. I got Ruben Walls. Everybody. We have heard about so many different, and here comes Thomas. Yeah, well, okay, that's always good. It's always good to say F the Eagles. All right, we got that going. But how y'all feel about this draft? Because, you know, we've heard so many different rumors, because, you know, the last 2 days have been the Eagles want Derrick Henry, and should the Cowboys try and get Derrick Henry? Of course, you know, there's other players that are still out there, you know, like DeAndre Hopkins. How y'all feel going into this draft? You feel good about where we are? You want to go ahead and grab some other people? And I got to grab something else too real quick. Go ahead and answer that for me.
I feel good. I mean, we did a lot more in free agency this year than we've did in a long time. And I think that,
I'm sorry, I had to.
What we really need. And I think that, you know, we need guard, tight end, defensive tackle. Those are our three top priorities.
Yes, all of the above.
All you gotta do is get you're gonna get Henry.
Thomas Garrett, how many times you come? Thomas, you're coming in twice.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, well, we definitely want to get, I'd love to get a defensive tackle. Anybody who knows me knows how much I love defensive tackles, okay? I need me a big, nasty guy that's going to go ahead and stop the run.
Dumpster full of gravel.
There you go. And, you know, I want the offensive guard, you know, or a tackle, and we can shift the guard, Tyler Smith to guard. I'm okay with that, you know, solidify the offensive line, protect that big investment of Dak Prescott in there. And I'd like the tight end that's a little tougher than Dalton Schultz was.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that move. If we can get somebody, you know, everybody's talking about, I definitely wouldn't be opposed to that.
Okay, I gotta adjust y'all's sound just a little bit.
What's up, Thomas?
There we go.
What's going on?
I've been out of the man cave here
Say it again, I
since
didn't hear you.
Wednesday,
Ready for the draft?
so forgive me. On
Yeah, I'm
getting ready.
debating. I'm debating on where I want to see it. I got, you know, there are two bar and grills that I'm deciding on. There's a bar and grill down the street from where I live, and there's another one that I want to go to that's located in the suburbs here. And I just got a decision to make on where I want to see it.
Well, that's going to be an interesting question. I see Game Time is in the chat. I don't know why he's not on here. I hope he joins us, as well as Primetime Phil. So it's been 80s. It was crazy. I burned my ass up working on the red brick house 2 days ago. It was like 85 degrees. This morning, I froze. It was so cold. I mean, it was like, I think it's like 56 degrees outside right now. It's like, how are you going to drop 30 degrees? And so looking at the weather forecast for Kansas City, they were calling for rain on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Now it's looking like rain on Friday. And yeah, they had like frost warnings last night, and I think it's only going to be like in upper 50s or 60s. I'm like, damn. So I said, honey, I need you to make me a sweatshirt for the draft. And I might need a raincoat too. So we may end up being in a bar in Kansas City broadcasting, in which case I can set up my microphones and we can be good to go that way.
Mr. Cowboy, do you got an Eagle shirt on?
What, Mr.
Oh, okay. He took okay. I was like, what the hell?
The hell?
T-shirt, man. I just had to be a little troll for Eagles today, so that's all it is.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, let me say hello to the ladies. I see Roland's reviews. Shout out to Stacy. Stacy didn't understand my question I had for the realtor because I was trying to find out if it's a property is more valuable if it's zoned residential or if it's zoned local business, which could be either one of the two. Alan Williams, what's up, Alan? I saw Regina Green. What's up, Regina? How are you doing? And let me make sure I got all the ladies in here. Okay. And Stacy, look, she's coming right on the chat. All right. So you're basically saying, that if we get a guard, a tight end, or defensive tackle,
I think
offensive guard, you're going to be okay. So
it'll for sure be a future starter for us. I think that whoever we draft will be starting this season.
I think it almost has to be if it's a guard. You better be starting.
Hello, everyone.
Hey,
Stacy, looking lovely as always.
Mark, did we answer your question on my live?
Well, no, he did. He was kind of like, well, it depends on look. It's like, look, it's a simple question. Okay, if you have a property that is residential, or if it can be residential or local business, it's a designation. It's like a zoning designation. Is it more valuable because it could be a local business, which is not heavy business? That could be like a doctor's office, a lawyer, a tavern, or something like that. So that was my question. It's all good. It's all good. It doesn't matter one way or the other. I was just wondering if he ended up knowing if there was or not. But anyway,
thank you for chiming in though and asking questions. Thank you so much.
I literally got in the door at 4:10. I turned the stream on while I was setting up down here, and I was listening and trying to get cleaned up and get in here because I haven't been in the studio since Wednesday
I didn't
morning.
expect you because I knew you were busy.
Well, now we're getting busy. It's draft, nothing but the draft. And every day till the draft is over. And I see my man Game Time, a.k.a. Cone Man, is in the house here.
What up?
Okay.
What's going on?
We might have a little problem at the draft there, buddy.
I can't believe it, man. It's coming quick. What's up, Stacy?
It may be rainy on Friday.
I ain't worried about any of that, man. We're not, like I was telling Randy, I was texting with him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, we're not going to be too far away from the draft. We're going to be indoors, basically, right?
Well, depending on the set. Okay, here was the setup in Philadelphia. They took the front of the museum, the steps and all that had a humongous tent over it, and so that's behind the ropes in there. So they've got tickets, of course, that are in there. Outside of that, where you can all see, they have it roped off so you can be standing there and you're seeing only about 200 feet from the stage. And then you have about 100,000 people out there around there with you, but that was all outdoors. Now there's bars and restaurants that are all kind of in that locked in area because they've got the NFL experience. Of course, they're selling a lot of shit. You got cheerleaders that are there. Of course, there were the Eagle cheerleaders, of course, trying to get pictures and things. And then you had drunk off your ass Eagle fans that were falling out all over the place. So that's typically, you got to figure, whatever businesses are in that downtown area, they're going to be open and serving food and everything else, but and you're going to be outside. So it may be The first
Even
night
if
is
we
the big
get,
night.
Somebody to get us in where everybody sits down, where you
Oh
normally
well,
buy
that's
tickets.
the case, but that's
Yeah, well,
there's only a
that's-
couple
that's
thousand of those
supposed to be-
tickets.
Well, I know, but I think there's a decent chance of that.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to tell you.
David
the
Wiley.
first David Wiley. Shout out to David Wiley, who's going to be on the road with us.
Wolfpack.
I have been to Radio City Music Hall,
Ohio.
the last one in New York. I've been to Chicago draft. I've been to Dallas draft, and I've been to Philadelphia draft. And getting in the first night, you really have to know somebody. I have been in second night front row twice, which is still not easy to do. But that first night, that's hard to come by. Third night, they're grabbing people off the street. Hey, would you like to call a draft pick? Hey, you, no, don't walk away. Great, come on, you get the
You
call.
got to mute Vado's mic, man.
Vado, okay, Vado. Okay, let me mute it.
I hear it. I don't know if everybody else.
There we
hears
go.
it.
All right, so
Don't worry about it.
it's gonna be one of those. Now, okay, perfect.
Yeah, I don't hear it now. Thanks, buddy.
I mean, if we have somebody that can get us in,
But
hey, that's
yeah,
great.
I'm looking forward to it. It's already Sunday. I'm actually surprised you're home. I thought you were staying overnight again.
No, we just decided to go ahead and come home tonight.
No, dude, man, you don't have to ask, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, questions away.
What do you guys think about this Derrick Henry situation? How it's going to go? Where do you think he's going?
I think
I
that's
hope
the
Philly
agent.
takes him.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
hope they take him.
$16 million for a 1 year rental.
The
I want them to take him.
The Eagles? Really? Why is that?
Because that's a Howie Roseman move.
Yeah, that good. But I'm gonna be honest. Considering the Eagles do running back by committee, that could be a little scary. It could be a scary thought.
Okay, you just hold on.
Mr.
You just
Cowboy, this
answered
is
your
what
own
I've come
question
to
there.
Realize, man, you can't worry about it. They're gonna you just know that they're gonna come away from this draft with all the hype, all the praise. They have 2 number 1 picks, so they're gonna get all the shine. We can't stop them from building their team. We know what they lost, and we know what we could potentially get in the draft. So we got to worry about ourselves. Let them do them. We know that these checks that they're cashing have to come due soon. We've been there.
Yeah, they just listen. Jalen Hurts might not be a big cap hit this year, but if they don't win the Super Bowl this year, that's going to be a problem.
No, they got years. They got a
the
couple
next
years.
3 years, his cap hit.
He's only 13 next
is
year.
really good. The problem is there's a lot of dead money.
It's backloaded.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So they've
of
got
dead money.
like
So
3 years
if he,
before
God
they even
forbid,
touch
gets
it.
hurt, or he reverts back to just 12 months ago, when we're literally just coming off a playoff game against Tampa, where everybody's questioning whether he's the guy, and are we using both of those number 1s to move up to grab a guy?
Okay.
Just 12 months ago.
Okay.
It's funny how times have changed. You know what I mean. So
all right. Here's what
did you guys hear the latest?
Hold. Let me answer before you go into the latest.
The tackle rumor.
Hold on, Brian. Hold.
Yeah, you got Grover Stewart out of the Indianapolis Colts. He lined up against what's his name out of the Niners that went there.
Bosa?
No,
Hargraves.
no, the guy who was with the Niners that signed a deal or that was traded to the Colts. He lined up next to him. I would have to pull it up. But anyway, Grover Stewart out today that Dallas is one of like 3 teams. The Eagles are the other one, but the Eagles said that they don't, that they're not in the market for it.
I don't believe any of that crap.
Yeah, they got to be.
But Grover Stewart was next to DeForest Buckner. He's a really good guy. So all I'm saying is 3rd, 4th round, probably 4th round type of guy. He's only 29. If we don't get that interior guy, we might be able to flip a 4 or a 5 for a guy like that, and he's really good. So I'm not saying.
I agree.
But for a 5th-round pick, that's worth it because
Yeah, I'm not saying it's going to be because he makes 9.5. I think it's not, which is not that much, but he's really good against the run. Dude. I mean, he's really good.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like a Hankins 2.0, but a little younger, a little faster. So
less wear and tear. Okay, I want to go back for once. Hold on. Let me go back for 1 second here. Let me go back for 1 second about the Derrick Henry thing.
We got
Mr. Cowboy. Hold up.
Like a decent second-string cornerbacks.
Can anybody hear me?
We got pass rushers. We got good backup pass. We do not have a decent.
Why am I muted? Okay, damn.
Yeah, you were muted the whole time, Mark.
Damn, no, I was like, hey, can I get a word in here? Okay.
Man.
Okay. I was like, the fuck is going on here? Okay. All right. Let me go back to Derrick Henry here for 1 second, okay? Because all of a sudden everybody's thinking, oh my God, they get Derrick Henry and everything else, everything's going to be wonderful. But here's the thing. Getting Derrick Henry, he had 1,500 yards last year on 349 attempts.
Yes.
At 4.4 yards a carry. Miles Sanders actually had 4.6 and had like 1,200 yards and like 100 yards, 100 carries less. So looking at that, and you automatically in your mind think, well, Derrick Henry, you're going to be great. Now, I know their offensive line was not good, but now you're talking about, are you going to put the ball in his hands versus passing it or Jalen Hurts' hands? So I don't think that it's one of those wow factor type moves, but I don't see that that's going to be a groundbreaking move for the team. You know what I'm saying? And that's where when people say, hey, well, we need to get Derrick Henry. Well, are we going to go back to Jason Garrett's office where we're, 3 yards in a pound, of dirt? Or are we going to be looking at doing more of the West Coast offense?
As much as I love my boys, we need
to build on a West Coast offense.
Yes,
right.
I love
and it's not about having a power back like that.
But it's not like it anymore. And just look at the bright side, people. You draft one. That's the only, and I'm only bringing this up once, Mark. That's the and he ain't gonna make it to us. But that's the only saving grace of getting a running back at the bottom of the first round is you get that 5th year, and then you're done. And then he goes out.
Step away.
So that's the only thing. That's the advantage to getting a running back early is that you get that 5th year, and but with the West Coast, we want to just roll through the backs. We're not going to have that staple.
You know what though? What kind of scares me with this one is with the Derrick Henry thing is that if the Eagles get him, I don't think they're going to go for Bijan. And I know some of you guys are not a fan of us drafting him in the first round if he does fall.
I am. I'm on board.
I'm biased because I'm a Longhorns fan, of course.
I want Bijan. I want Roshan Johnson.
Here's the thing: would you rather pay $16 million for a 1-year rental or draft Bijan? Sorry, if you're saying I've got to have a back, you take Bijan because you're not spending $16 million. And
it don't have to be Bijan, Mark. It could be any back.
I would rather we take a running back in the later round.
But
in the second.
But what he's saying is, would you rather sign Henry or get a back who's going to be your feature guy?
Right.
That's what you go young.
Running back, you got to go young.
You need a back who can do.
But
you're not going to give him the ball 25 times. You're not.
You know what? You know what about a Cowboys situation though right now is that it just feels like we got most of the pieces that we need. And it's like a comfortable thing. It's like a comfortable feeling in a good way. In a way, it's like we can kind of draft anybody, and it wouldn't be a bad decision for any position right now. But we do need offensive line help, and I think we need a backup defensive tackle.
Well, I'll take where we are this year versus where we were last year. Last year, we had questions on if C.D. Lamb was even a number 1 wide receiver, and we had C.D. and a bunch of guys. We looked at it and we said, Luke Gifford is one of our more experienced linebackers after Leighton Vander Esch, right? We looked at what other? Let's see, where else were we? We were lacking. Shit, punter. We couldn't even pay the punter. We had so many holes. We looked like Swiss cheese last year. So we are far and away better than where we were. You could look and say, okay, If we don't get the defensive tackle, it's not an upgrade, but it's not the end of the world. If we don't get another linebacker, it's not an upgrade, but it's not the end of the world. If we don't get another wide receiver, the same thing. Guard maybe is more of a necessity, but you follow what I'm saying. We don't look at this and say we ain't got nobody in these positions.
And just remember, we're gonna leave this draft, and we're gonna have picks to where we take the best player. Okay. Yes. And it's not necessarily going to fill a need. We're not going to fill all of our needs, whether it's tight ends. There's going to be a position, and that's going to dictate who we go out and sign, because there's a lot of guys in free agency and a lot of guys you could trade. Guys are going to come on the market after the draft based on what those teams pick in the draft. So we're not going to get every need, people, but we're going to get a lot of needs, but we may just stack up in a position because that guy is so good, like a defensive edge guy.
See, offensive guard.
We're going to get a guard, Ruben. We're going to get a guard. It just
somebody that's nasty though, like back
there's a half dozen nasty guys.
We might even get 2 guards in the draft.
Yeah, fucking carried away.
That would be nice. Get some extra help.
Yeah. So I'm just letting you guys know that, we're not going to fill every need. Come Sunday night, we're going to say, oh, Jesus, whether it's tight ends, whether it's, hey, I don't think we don't draft a running back, so I wouldn't say that position. Maybe it's a receiver. Maybe we say, oh, my God, we didn't get anybody. But there's going to be guys that come available after the draft that aren't already available that nobody's touching, a la Zeke Elliott.
Yeah,
that's where Zeke's his value, like Mark said a couple of weeks ago, is to wait till after the draft. There's going to be teams who earmark 2 or 3 guys.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to get those guys, and then all of a sudden, now you got those 2 or 3 teams saying, you know what? Let's go out and get Zeke. We'll give him $6 million a year or whatever the number is.
6.
And now
it better not be more than 3.
But you know what I mean? Now you got teams going up against them saying, oh, well, Philly didn't take it back, so they want him. Tennessee traded Henry. Whatever.
I'm sorry. I've got a leg cramp here.
I had a question real quick, yo.
Yeah.
What are the odds if the Eagles don't take Bijan Robinson at number 10? What are the odds he falls between?
Not good.
Not good at all.
I pray not.
That's kind
there's a possibility.
But I'm telling you right now, Mr. Cowboy.
There's a possibility that
Giants aren't taking
might actually trade up to probably get him.
I could tell you right now, you got to worry from 15. I don't think the Eagles are going to take him at 10, but they could. I think that would be stupid. There's way too many good players on the board for them to take a running back. I honestly believe that. I think if they do it, they're catering to their fans. But I think they can get a good player. I think he's going to go anywhere from 15 to 21.
Hey, Eagles for life.
That he could go to the Chargers.
Hey, Eagles for life. Get back to me when Jalen Hurts actually gets a victory over Dak Prescott, buddy, okay?
Yep. Fuck them birds.
They're just
fly, Eagles, fly. Yeah. Now we shoot those birds out of the sky. Stupid dumbasses managed to give up a 3rd and 30 to my sexy arm. Pathetic defense and team. No wonder I own those piece of shit frauds every damn year. Don't get me started on the fans. You boo me while I earned a respected award. Losing the Super Bowl was just karma for you fuckheads. I can't wait to drop 100 on your heads next season while being the daddy of the NFC East again.
There you go. Nobody asked for your asses to come up in here, Eagles fans.
This is coming from not from me. This is coming from a Gary Cobb. This is coming from guys within the Eagles media, basically. Jalen Hurts at the start of next year now plays under center with an enormous burden. Welcome to the club. You are now the highest paid player in the NFL.
Yep.
And you had everything fall for
the real smart people realize that if you lose Kelsey for an injury and you lose Lane Johnson for an injury, and then all of a sudden your quarterback's play dips like you guys did with the Cowboys, now he sucks. He don't suck. It's a team game. And I'll leave it at that.
You know what's also very risky about the Eagles giving Jalen Hurts a contract, right?
I think a black quarterback.
We remember last year. You remember Green Bay?
Mm-hmm.
He was getting hit.
Absolute
Y'all,
great
in this
football throughout his career.
Jalen Hurts is injury prone, y'all. If he gets that one bad injury, that's gonna hurt the Eagles big time. And listen, his legs is his best asset. Now his arm is decent. You know what I'm saying? But
I keep hearing Vado's background noise, so I can barely hear what's being said.
There you go. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. You know, the thing I love on this is everything was perfect last year for the Eagles.
Yeah.
Everything was perfect for them. They didn't have any adversity. They didn't play a lot of big name quarterbacks either. They had that second place schedule. And you can't expect to go through a season without the amount of injuries that most teams had. Now, I know they had Lane Johnson. They lost him for, some time, but he still came back and played really, really good into the playoffs. I mean, they played the Giants in the playoffs. They ended up playing against, for a quarter, an NFL quarterback who was on, a sixth start? I know we lost to him, but at least he played the whole game against us. Next year, things are not going to go to script perfectly. No, never does shit go perfect 2 years in a row. Am I crazy?
Well, you saw what happened at the end of the year, people. When
just to Jalen Hurts.
You saw when Hurts missed a couple games. What happened? Did they win a game?
Oh, they looked pretty
No,
bad.
they did not. Okay, they didn't. Sure, so they can go 4-1 with their backup quarterback. Okay, they would not have got the bye if Hurts missed multiple games.
You're right about that.
So that's all. And I'm not bashing anybody. I'm just telling you it's a team game. I said this a couple weeks ago. Whoever comes out of the East, the NFC East, is going to be the team that can stay the healthiest all year, and that's just a fact. It could be the damn Giants, people. If we lose somebody big, or the Eagles lose somebody big, it could be the Giants win the damn division if they stay healthy.
Yep,
that's how close it is.
Listen, I think with the Giants, Saquon Barkley was definitely their backup MVP. I guess you could say, right? And I don't believe he's even signed that tenure yet. Has he? The tenure?
No. He hasn't signed.
I wouldn't sign it.
That's not a big deal.
They're going to try to screw him because they paid Daniel Jones. You're not going to screw me if I'm Saquon Barkley, and I was the only
He's
good.
He's going to sign it, Mr. Cowboy.
He's going to sign it.
I don't think so.
There's no incentive for him not to sign it because nobody's getting big deals. Nobody's getting long-term deals.
Well, I mean,
if he signs it, now he has to be in the building for off-season workouts. Now he can wait until training camp. You know these guys. They all have their own trainers. They hang out. Saquon is not a guy that you got to worry about being in shape. If anything, he overtrains. He'll be fine. So, and he's working out with Micah. That's why you saw Micah have his back. Mm-hmm. He'll sign his tender. Just like Tony Pollard. He ran in to sign that shit because he knew Dallas could rescind it. Just like the Giants can rescind it. If I was him, I would sign it before the draft. Because like you said, if Bijan or Michael said, if Bijan is drafted, what do you think they're going to do to him? Since he already, Saquon, threw the first stone, basically. He's the one that said, I ain't signing it, and he came out publicly. Zeke never did that, mm-hmm. or Pollard never did that. Dallas could have rescinded that after they saw that these guys are coming back for 1 year, $6 million deals. We're talking, big running back. Or Pollard, I mean. You know what I mean? So I would just say he's going to sign it. If not, he runs a risk of them rescinding it, and now what? Now you're post-draft. How many teams are going to give him anywhere close to the $10.1 mil?
I get what you're saying.
You know what I mean? That's all I was saying.
Yep. Because teams that need back will probably draft one in the run.
I was on board with he giving him an offer and letting Zeke and Pollard go. I was on board with that. That's how much I like him. I know he's been hurt, but he's an explosive back. But once we brought back Pollard on the 10.1 with a broken leg and a injured tendon in his ankle, now we're kind of locked into getting somebody young just in case.
Right.
Or bringing back Zeke.
Yeah, Dak definitely wants him back, and Dak voice has some power, but I think Jerry Jones is just stubborn. Like Jerry Jones is very stubborn.
Listen, if you can let go DeMarcus Ware,
yeah,
you could let go DeMarcus Ware.
Hall of Famers.
You can let go. Zeke Elliott. I mean, you let go Tony Dorsett. You let go Emmitt Smith. You let go DeMarco Murray.
Yes.
What makes Zeke Elliott untouchable?
Nothing.
Unfortunately, but that's the salary cap era. This is not pre-salary cap because and I know Zeke would still be here pre-salary cap. We would just go get another one. And we would have two. I mean, we had Dorsett and Herschel Walker on the same team for a year. So I mean, we'll go out and get good guys. But I mean, salary cap, you have to allot, and you have to look ahead. Mark keeps saying how much we have under the cap, but we really don't have a lot when you factor in dead money coming up for guys that we may want to move on from and new contracts. So
you're also going to get that salary cap that's going to go up. It's all relative.
You would hope.
And here's the thing is if you want to do something, you can do something. Okay, New Orleans was $68 million over the cap.
Yeah,
it ain't stopped them from signing Derek Carr.
That's proof that NFL teams can really do anything they want.
Look at the Eagles. It hurts me to say, but they're sitting with what, $23 million under the cap, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't forget they still got to pay Devontae Smith also. So
no, but we're only $13 million, and we got to pay Parsons, we got to pay Diggs, and we got to pay CeeDee Lamb. All I'm saying is, I got to give him credit. That GM, I'll take him over Jerry Jones any day. Now, you know what? I want Howie Roseman with our draft staff, our player personnel. I think our player personnel with, I think it's second to none. So you add Howie Roseman, who can make trades, look ahead. He's mastery of the salary cap.
Don't
got to give them credit, man. Well, I know, but they can't draft like we could draft. The only way they could draft real good is what happened. And everybody says how great the draft was last year, but that's to be determined. How great was it?
Well, I mean,
I know.
Do you look at Jordan Davis and say, "Oh my God, that was a great, pickup for what they put on him for a 2-down player who was injured"?
I just mean, and this is the last good thing I'll say about the Eagles for today, is I don't think Dallas could have recovered like the Eagles recovered, getting rid of Carson Wentz. Even Philly 500 laughed at the Eagles for picking up Jalen Hurts in the second round, regardless of what we think of Hurts and how good he could be or is, or compared to Dak. It was obviously a good pick in the second round. So, they recovered quick. I don't know that we could have done that.
Big. I just don't believe in Jalen Hurts. I think he's a one-hit wonder personally.
I'm hoping you're right, man. I'm hoping you're right because I got a lot of receipts out there.
It wouldn't be the first time that Eagles signed a quarterback to a big contract after one good season.
Like I was telling everybody, you're gonna have that one good year, but you got to realize something. The NFL, they let you have that 1 year, but after that,
you want us.
All 31 teams, they got film on you now.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing that I tell you what. You want to make sure you slow down that team. Don't let them do a freaking quarterback draw up the middle all the damn time.
Right.
Seriously. How many times have we seen him literally just walk up the middle? So, yeah, defensive coordinators and staffs are paid after 1 year of you doing good. They're going to dissect everything that you do,
Yep.
Yep.
And that they will
what's a way
it will
to
not
do
be
that,
as
Mark?
easy.
I'm on board. What's a good way to do that also?
Well, a lot of times
Is
you basically have a guy whose job is I'm covering the middle. It's a spy, basically your middle
just
linebacker.
get a nasty defense. I want to add to this defense and make it nasty. I understand we need a guard. We don't need to go nuts on offense. We could get away with not drafting a receiver. I'm not saying don't draft one, but that's a position where we could get away with not getting a receiver. He's gonna walk in whoever we get, as at best the number 3 receiver.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not saying don't get one, but I want to get a guard and either tight end or receiver, and then just load up on the defense, man. I want to be nasty on defense. So
we just
get
need to
ahead.
learn how to stop the run.
Yeah, I mean, just be nasty on defense. Dominate the offense. Dominate the Eagles' offense. You do that. Are you afraid of their defense? We put up 40 last year when they were so deep.
Yeah.
They're not going to be as good defensively this year, are they?
No.
They
lost 5 starters on the
defensive
defense.
players. That would be the smart thing for them.
Including,
I don't know that they're going to help themselves to do that.
Was it Hargrove?
Yeah, they lost Hargrove.
That's a big loss right there. Now, of course, they'll tell you, oh, well,
And
Jordan Davis is going to
Sue.
go in there. Yeah, Sue, of course, is gone, too.
Linval
he was a 1-year
Joseph.
rental.
The guy they got from Chicago that used to be with us, he's gone.
Robert Quinn. Although Robert Quinn
didn't do nothing,
he didn't
but
bust a grade.
still, you know, they lost a lot in their secondary.
The Eagles losing Ndamukong Suh. I wouldn't mind the Cowboys bringing him.
Sue doesn't have that much.
He may
love.
sign back with them. Yeah. But yeah. So anyway, so what's what do you guys think, Ruben, loyal Cowboy, Michael? What do you guys think that? What do you really think? I mean, we could all say who we want. And what do you guys think they're going to do at 26? What do you think?
We need a guard.
Best player
We
available.
need a guard.
At 26, though.
I mean, Conor McGovern, he was there. I mean, who we got behind that? We got Ball. He sucks.
But you're going to take a guard if Torrance is gone. You're going to take a guard probably 20 spots ahead.
Well, I might take a tight end.
Well,
I'm still saying no lineman.
See, I don't know a lot about Anton Harrison. Does anybody help me out? Anton Harrison, tackle out of Oklahoma. He'll probably be on the board. DeJuan Jones, I'm not interested in just because he's too big. He's going to get killed by the speed rushers. He's the tackle out of Ohio State, the 6'8" guy. Those are the guys that you're looking at. That are going to be on the board as far as offensive linemen.
Well,
in first round grades.
Well, he's a tackle though, so that's the
right
only thing.
I know.
And
so
he's a one tech. I don't know if he could switch over to guard though.
So what I'm saying is, just looking at, I have names in front of me. I do mocks, and when we're there, Darnell Wright's going to be gone. Okay, Paris Johnson Jr. is going to be gone. That's what I'm saying to you guys is we need to keep it real. Peter Skoronski is going to go early. You know what I mean?
I think he's going to Chicago.
So it's like, I understand you guys get caught up in first round. I will say this. If you're looking at, let's say we're looking at a Will McDonald, you're looking at a Zay Flowers, you're looking at a Mozzie Smith, and you're looking at I'm talking about when we pick, and Osiris Torrance is there.
Yeah.
It may come full circle and go back to they draft Osiris Torrance out of the University of Florida with our first pick. What would you guys think of that? Because to me, that's their fallback. They love him. I don't think he'll be there. He don't really fit the West Coast, but he's so good that he would be the highest graded guy. So we may not be excited about Torrance, but that may be the pick, depending on what happens.
We very rarely are excited about the pick.
We kind of need to chill out on this because a lot of these I said it last week, a lot of these good players, it's not going to be first round draft choices.
Right.
a lot of these good players are not going in the first round because, I said it. Some of these players are going in the second and third round. So we're going to eventually get somebody good in the draft.
Yeah.
We're going to get somebody.
I got a question, though. Would you guys be willing to maybe trade back out of the first round, get an early second round pick, maybe like around 35, 36, 37, and then, get more picks and then help that offensive line more, maybe even get a receiver? What would you guys?
I need my one, man. I need my one.
That's why I was saying it's possible that we get that guy via a trade, Thomas.
Our number one is pretty much a number. And
Yeah, I would
pick.
I would trade back get like 30 and maybe 94.
You just don't want to trade away from a good player.
Yeah.
So we need to see who falls. If a Quentin Johnson is there, you take him. If
I agree with you, Brian.
If Quentin Johnson is there, you take him. If Darnell Wright is there, you take him.
Unless
Roderick Jones,
now here's the scenario though. If it's a player that they really coveted and they want, and they see that this guy is falling, and you believe that he can, move back 2 or 3 spaces and still get him, then you make that move to pick up like you did with Micah. We moved back 2 spaces, still got Micah, and still had the third round pick. So, I could see you doing something like that. But when you say, let's just move back to the second round. Nah, because you know what a problem with second round picks in the Cowboys? Second round picks are a problem for the Cowboys. Let me stay in the first round. Because the thing about the Cowboys is very rarely do they miss on first round picks. That is like their gold standard, that the Cowboys have more Pro Bowlers.
You know why, Mark?
They really focus in on that guy.
Mark,
they focus in on best player,
available.
Sticking to your board. Don't worry about your need type of deal. But go ahead, Thomas.
That's the reason why I said in the first round, don't get cute.
Right.
Go ahead on, get your first round draft choice and get that shit over with.
Well, I did a mock.
You don't need to get cute. You don't need to be the big kid on the block. Draft your first round draft choice and get ready for the second and third round Friday night.
Yeah, I did a mock and posted it on Twitter. It's my official. I picked for every team. For every team, and I did not do any trades. And who I took for Dallas, I want to know what Thomas thinks of this. You can go back to that and look to see who is on the board at the time, but we ended up with Will McDonald. Now, I probably would have wanted to trade down. I know Mark said he don't want to trade down.
I mean, I can trade. Listen, you know what?
What do you guys think of Will McDonald? Yeah, Iowa State edge rusher.
I just don't want to.
And that's sticking to the board, and I know they really like him. You know what I mean? Like you might be ended up with him, Anton Harris. That's why I rattled off those names because that's what I was looking at, and I'm like, you know what? But I picked everybody's. I'm curious to see, how many I'll get right. But we ended up with Will McDonald. Now, what would you guys think? Does anybody know who he is, or
I like Will McDonald. I saw him play at Iowa State last year.
Right. So if we ended up with him. Is everybody going to be upset because they don't know him, or
I don't know who.
I think the people will get upset because it's not the pick that everybody wants. Because I know other Cowboy fans are like, we need to get Bijan Robinson. It's like, oh wait a minute now, pump the brakes here. We can't say we want this guy. We don't know how this guy's going to turn out in the NFL.
Blue Virus, what up, buddy?
They're going to be.
Yeah, I'm just throwing names out there.
And see, if we get him, he need to be the one that's going. Be the replacement for D-Law.
Exactly. And it's not as far down the road as you may think. Right. And I'm happy with that. If you got a guy like Will McDonald, I think Nolan Smith, I have him going mocked, believe it or not, to 10 to the Eagles. I think that's what they should do. Board.
Somebody on the NFL Network had him going to the Eagles.
Oh, did really? I just picked it this morning, and I was just like, all right, what would I do? Just to check it out. But yeah, I just have a weird feeling that we're going to be sitting there and my guy Quentin Johnson is going to be gone. Osiris Torrance is going to be gone. You would either have to take a second round guy, or that's why I was asking you, because I don't know much about Anton Harrison, the tackle out of Oklahoma. I'm not a big fan of DeJuan Jones, the tackle out of Ohio State. I know he's big, but in the NFL, there's a lot of questions whether he has enough bend to be able to get that speed, because he's going to play right tackle most likely.
You know what's so funny, Brian? Because the guy you mentioned from Ohio State, that 6'8" guy, another
DeJuan
video
Jones.
from TPS, they had him being projected as a bust because of his height.
Well, that's the thing. He's so big, he can't bend. And how many times you see a guy like Brandon Graham or a shorter edge rusher, any edge rusher that has bend that can get around a guy like that. So I would be scared.
And you want your tackles to be kind of athletic, because they're dealing with them fast defensive ends and outside linebackers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see us taking a corner there. No, I'm just saying if the board falls a certain way and you're looking at, oh my God, we're going to take Jahmyr Gibbs? I wouldn't do that. So there's one other name, guys, that Will McDonald will probably be there. If not Will, then it'll be Nolan Smith, but I think Nolan's gone. Will McDonald, what do you guys think about Mozzie Smith? Honest opinion at 26. I'm not talking possibly getting him. I'm talking about first round, number 26. I think that's a very strong possibility if things fall a certain way. What do you think about Mozzie Smith?
I said it. I told a buddy of mine last night. I told him, I said, hey man, look, if any of these players who I won in the first round are gone, and there's somebody like Mozzie Smith or Will McDonald, hell, even Bijan Robinson. If they're still
Bijan gonna be gone, but yes, if Bijan's there, to me that's easy because he's a top 3 guy.
If these guys that I name are there,
yes.
Hey, I ain't messed up with it. Go ahead on and get them.
You have to. That's why I'm saying if you stick to the talent, and we may all sit back and go, man, we just took Will McDonald or Mozzie Smith with our first round pick, and we need a guard. All right, but I could rattle off you a bunch of guards, man. There's a lot of guys. After digging into it, there's a lot of guys. If Vila might be there, I don't think he'll be there at 58. That's the only reason, why Mark in that situation where we're looking at a Mozzie Smith and we're looking at, a Will McDonald. If we could drop down to 36 or 37 and get another top 100 pick, and then get a Vila there, and now you get that extra pick to where you could have a luxury pick like a Darnell Washington, or get a, you know what I mean? I would it wouldn't make for a fun night one at the draft, but I think for the team,
it'd be a lot of drama to talk about.
Yeah, I think it might be better off.
Because then you're going to say, okay, what's the speculation? What is the point? Who's the player that they're actually targeting that they really want in the second round?
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing. I don't think you need to trade. I mean, you're talking about 6 or more places. Typically, they're not going to trade that far back out of the first round. Usually you're talking about 2, 3, maybe 4 spots.
But they came out and said they basically had, he said, 16 to 18 first round grades, unless there's a player that I just think, this year's draft, in my opinion, and I don't know if anybody disagrees, it is so deep. After the top 15 guys, you literally have 45 guys in any particular order. So it's not like your past drafts. This is around 3, 4, like 2, 3, and 4 is where the meat of this draft is. Mm-hmm. Only a handful of guys in this first round are actually going to do anything, probably. That's just the way it works. So why not get another bullet? But that, hey, I'm looking forward to the whole process, man. It'll be neat to see it play out.
Boom. Brian, you said it. You said what I said a while ago. Don't worry about the first round. The meat of the draft is going to come between the between the second and third and maybe the fourth round.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what that's where the heart of the draft is anyway.
Yeah, you know what though? I like the way y'all think with that, because I for some reason noticed that the Cowboys always do pretty well in third, fourth, to fifth round. We found some really good talent in those rounds. We found Dak Prescott, a franchise quarterback. That doesn't happen very often. We found Bland last year in the fifth round, although we probably gave up Amari Cooper for that. I believe I don't know if we got that pick for this draft, but I'm just saying I think we find decent, talent between the third and the fifth round sometimes. So, yeah.
I'm hearing a lot of push too, guys. It probably round 3 for a cornerback named Darius Rush out of South Carolina.
Yeah,
they really like Darius
under the
Rush.
radar.
Yeah,
Darius
they really
Rush might
like
actually
him.
be a steal in the draft.
He's 6'2", 198. And from what I hear, Dan Quinn had a private workout with him. So
Jerry, he's getting them. Jerry's going to get him for Dan Quinn.
Either that or Corey Trice. I was wrong on our show last week. I had said Corey Trice. I did a little research. I got him mixed up with somebody. He was at the combine, so that was my bad. But the cornerback out of Purdue has been rising. Huge. Came out of nowhere. He's another guy, fits in the Dan Quinn mold, 6'3", 206. He's expected to go right around the same. So, unless one of the top 3 fall, Thomas, I know, I don't think we're going to take a corner. We'll probably take one corner in the draft. You know how we go. We'll probably sign a couple in free agency.
This year, you're going to have a whole lot of players that's under the radar that we're not talking about.
Right. And we're going to be like, I don't know. And that's why I said, just be prepared that all the talk is going to be, wow, the Eagles, they went and got this guy and that guy. They're going to be like, the winners, but you ain't going to know shit. Just like last year, how great it was. I got an argument with the guy at work.
Look for the draft day trades. Okay.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
Finally, after all the bullshit between Green Bay and the Jets, they're finally beginning to talk again. You got to believe that Arizona is going to want to get rid of, Hopkins. They're going to probably try and make a move to get what they can out of that. And the same thing with Derrick Henry. So you may see a lot of stuff, trades that are crazy, that are going to blow your mind. So you need to keep your head on a swivel for the draft here too. And don't be surprised if you see the Cowboys decide to make some kind of a move.
Would you be surprised if the Cowboys were to trade back in the draft, say maybe 2 or 3 spots to grab some more draft picks? Would you be surprised with that?
Well, we gotta hope, Michael.
No.
We gotta hope that one of the that not as many quarterbacks go, and we can use our spot for a team to maybe pop back up to get a Hendon Hooker. I expect Hooker to go, actually. But
Mark Hutton makes a great point.
Mark Hudson, go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, he says to trade out of the first round, it would cost you a second and third round pick. Your fifth-year option's worth 1 pick. Yeah, that fifth-year option is kind of important, although you're looking more of the, we'll worry about that. If you're that good, we'll get you signed. And I wouldn't say, and for me, I'm not saying move out of the first round. You could move back 2 or 3 spots possibly if somebody is desperate enough to grab a guy and still get the guy that you may have wanted at 26.
Yeah, I agree. But at that point at 26, Mark, you should have, I don't know. I don't know their board, but it's going to be a second round graded guy. Okay. I know people have a hard time understanding what I'm saying. Just because there's 31 first round picks this year, there's not 31 first round rated talent. That doesn't mean you're not going to draft a guy. You are. But
it's like when we drafted Travis Fredericks in 2013. Everybody projected him to be a third rounder, but we got him in the first.
And we got crapped on for taking him. And what are they doing? And what happened? He did nothing but make Pro Bowls. And he would still be making Pro Bowls.
That we had.
He was actually always beating out the guy in Philly. Yeah, he was always beating the guy out of Philly. He's the happiest guy that he got the autoimmune disease because Jason Kelsey's been now the guy that's going to. He was always beating Kelsey out. That's how good he was. Mm-hmm. So, I agree, Thomas.
Would you take Broderick Jones if he fell at 20, at 26? Tackle out of Georgia?
I wouldn't.
It depends on. It depends on.
7 pounds.
Yeah, I know, but we talked about it. He can't bend. His problem is he's got a bust.
That was Ohio State talking about.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't. I don't know that they would. They love. I don't know that they would take a 6'8" guy who's kind of slow of foot. He's more of a mauler. Who am I thinking of then? Let me see.
I think Edwin was talking about the tackle from Georgia, right, Edwin?
Yes.
Broderick Jones. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. He was. I'm thinking of the guy. I'm thinking of DeWand out of Ohio State. Yeah, I like Broderick Jones. Sorry, that's my bad. I'm at the point now where I'm swimming in
names. He's the best player available. Go ahead and to take it. I'd be okay with a tackle. Even my dad, he said, take the best player who is available at 26. If it's a tackle, okay, it's a tackle.
It's a tackle,
that's the best
right?
Player available.
I think the first round, you have to do that, people. That's why if Bijan is there, you would have to strongly consider taking him. The only thing you wouldn't do is obviously draft a quarterback, but then you would trade that pick to a team who's going to use it for a quarterback and move on. So
yeah, that's true. But look,
you know what I mean?
Whenever it comes to taking a running back in the first round, look at the last running back we took in the first round. Zeke, right?
Yeah, I thought it was good.
7 good, solid years, some even Pro Bowl years. So I wouldn't be, I know you agree with me. You agree with me.
Yeah,
yes, good years. But here's the problem, though. Take a look at the good years. Like Derrick Henry's had good years too. How many playoff games have they won?
I think the problem.
Barkley's had good years too. How many playoff wins?
I think the problem is the Cowboys. It's not they went out and got Zeke, and then they didn't do much. We
didn't have a defense to go with it.
But you know what I mean? They didn't draft good around the Zeke pick. It made a lot. You know what I mean? It's like you need to hit on more than. Now they've been doing a better job since that draft.
Yeah.
Do we believe that Zeke Elliott has been the same guy that he was before Cabo?
No. I agree with you on that one, Mark. No.
The thing about running backs is year 4 is usually the peak.
Yeah.
Okay. After that, they start going downhill. I mean, there's exceptions to every rule. I mean, Barry Sanders,
Adrian
Peterson and all that, But for the most part, take a look at them. Take a look. Running backs just don't last.
Don't forget about LaDainian into Tomlinson. He lasted a long time, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Amos
you
Smith.
Can't just do. I think that's where we get in trouble, Mark, is putting blanket statements out there.
But, okay, well, here's the thing, though. It's not so much the pick of getting him. The question is, it's the pick that you're giving up, the potential for another position. When you're drafting a running back, that's a short-term person.
Okay.
Yeah, but the average.
Are you better? Are we better off?
Is less than that.
I mean, let's be real here. Are we better off if we get another Zeke Elliott or an Aaron Donald?
Well, yeah, Aaron Donald is like a
well, but you follow what I'm saying. If we have somebody who can stop the run, a great player on the defense,
or if we get a guy like Barry Sanders.
Okay. How about this?
I'll take
which would you would you rather have a Zeke or a Micah Parsons?
Parsons.
Thank you.
Assuming we could re-sign him, Micah Parsons.
No, I'm saying if basically going into a draft.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay,
Parsons.
You would take a Parsons because you say that guy is changing the game. Okay, yeah. Okay, running back. Yeah,
I would take the cornerback who went to the Jacksonville Jags. Now, obviously, at that if I can go back in time, and I love Zeke, I would have taken the cornerback out of Florida State. So
Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, I would have taken Jalen Ramsey. I think we could. There's not a mistake, but I think that if we can redraft, honest, I think where we go.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Jalen Ramsey's still in the league.
Yeah.
So that's all. I mean, I agree with you. I do. I don't think Bijan's going to be there, so I think we're good. And since I said that, there's going to be a spot where Mark's going to be losing it, and I'm going to have it on because he's going to drop to us somehow, some way. Somebody's going to be stupid and let him get to us because you know we're taking him. You know we're taking him if he's there. So.
Okay, I hear you talking.
We don't know how the draft is going to go, so all we
Sacramento's about ready to shock the world. Sorry,
but you know what? Though we all know that the talking heads will be shitting on us no matter who we draft. They'll be like, that guy's no good. That's what they're going to say, just to make themselves,
These talking heads get caught up in the flash, like we already talked about. They get caught up. They didn't, have nothing good to say when we took Travis Frederick. Zach Martin was a little better. There, he was a little bit lower, higher of a player. But they were like, they didn't get Ryan Shazier. That's who they really wanted,
Well, it's funny because Jerry Jones wanted Johnny Manziel. I was like, oh, please do not take this clown. Do not take him.
That's why Jerry has got to go because Jerry is.
You mean the guy that Skip Bayless said that the Texans would regret if they had not?
Yes.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that was great, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was, Johnny Manziel, I'm all like, this guy is like, he's not going to take football seriously in the NFL.
No,
and then look where he is now. He's out of an NFL job. Instead of the money, he had the beer with him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I hear you. Let's get to the chat a little bit. We're kind of ignoring him.
For the NFL.
Darlene Mosher says, I believe we really need to try and never get a defensive player, then we should go offense and take care of our offensive line. She wants defense or offensive line. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
I'm pretty much the same way too. Either offense or defense.
I agree with that. I think in the first round, I think we need to draft in the trenches.
Yeah, I'm with Jeremy Anello. If we're thinking that we are a Super Bowl contender, this is what he says, and I agree with him. I'm trying to win a Super Bowl in the next 2 years. Bijan can give me in those 2 years, that's going to give you a great opportunity. A tight end, if you draft a tight end in round one, typically they never come out of the box hot. You're going to get 700 yards and best case, a handful of touchdowns. That's what you're going to get from any of these tight ends. You can get lucky with one of the defensive edge players. The corners, you already know what we have on corner. He's going to be a nickel at best at this point, unless one of the top three, even the top three aren't going to come out and play ahead of Gilmore. So, like, when you start breaking it down, okay, if you got Steve Avila, he's, okay, I guess he would start. So I'm okay with an offensive guard. I don't know about attack. I mean, if Steele's ready, is a tackle going to start? Probably not. You know what I mean? If you think about it, like a wide receiver, is that person going to start? I think at best is going to be a wide receiver 3, whoever it is. That's if you start thinking about that, then it kind of brings you back to a defensive player in round one or an offensive guard or tackle that plays guard.
Yeah,
so that's where you should look for. Start looking at that because I think that's what's going to happen. If you brought Bijan in here, he would be day one starter.
Oh, he'd have to be.
He would be day one starter. You cannot say he wouldn't be a starter.
You would put him over Tony Pollard?
Tony Pollard is not. He's not going to. Yeah, I would absolutely. Tony Pollard is going to be that Swiss Army knife, do everything. You saw what happened with his number of carries. You saw what happened.
With that is, I don't think that Jerry Jones would allow Tony Pollard not to be the number one back, considering he's paying him $10 million
for 1 year, and then they're already looking at the compensation that they're going to get when he signs, if and when. But there's no guarantee a team's going to pay a lot. I mean, I thought that there's obviously something going on, guys. There's something going on amongst these owners that they all got together and said, we're not going to pay a lot. They're not paying a lot of positions. Ask Dalton Schultz what's going on.
Yeah, mainly the running back and tight ends.
Yeah. So don't worry about Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard is a great player, but that
hopefully he's going to be ready.
Take a player because of that. Plus, he's coming off a broken leg and severely strained ligaments in his ankle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got a question though.
Let's not forget about that.
Go ahead, Mr. Cowboy.
It's obvious that B.J. Robinson is the number one back in the draft, right? Who is number two? Who do we have a realistic chance?
It all depends what kind of offense you're running. We have a Tony. You know what I mean? You guys tell me. If we already know we have a Tony Pollard, right? We already know we have a Tony Pollard.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to get a Devin A-Chain. I'm sorry, but in my, you
need a bruising back.
Like, you don't want a Jahmyr Gibbs. That's basically Tony Pollard. I'm not a Zach Charbonnet guy, but you got Tajay Spears. I mean, I like him. I love my guys are Tank Bigsby, Roshan Johnson, Kendre Miller. I like Sean Tucker. You want a bruiser? Give me Sean Tucker. I mean, Kenny McIntosh out of Georgia. I like. I mean, there's a lot, guys, and I skipped a bunch that are more Tony Pollard like guys that are,
Mm-hmm.
I like Shaq Charbonnet out of UCLA.
Yeah,
he's the opposite of Tony Pollard, but he still have power and speed. And he catches good.
Got a lot of carries under him already. To me, give me Roshan Johnson out of Texas, man. I'll take him. What does Mr. Cowboy think of him? Since he's a Texas guy.
I like Roshan Johnson.
You know what I mean? He does everything. He does it all.
But is he a first round talent though?
No. You're not taking. No. You're not taking him before the third round. Yeah, third round guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're talking about. Third and fourth round guys. You wait any longer than that, now you're possibly
going to miss him.
Looking at Zeke. Just being honest.
Oh my God.
Well, if you wait any longer than that, then what's the sense? You might as well just go get Zeke and get an unrestricted guy. You can get a guy late in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. I'm fine, but I don't want to wait. That's why I'm kind of into that trade down, give me an extra pick, So we'll see.
All righty.
I'd be okay with that, getting 2 extra picks if the Cowboys trade back 2 or 3 spots.
You're not going to get 2 or 3 picks to trade
You'll
back.
Get
I mean, when we traded back for Travis Frederick, we traded back, I think, 3 spots, and we got a third round. We got a third round.
I mean, let's say you trade at, I'll use 35, which is at the very top of round 2. That's the 4th pick. That's a premium pick. You get to go home. You get to realign. Get to realign. Look at your board and go, oh my God, look at the guys that we had rated high or up there. So you have a number 30. Like, you get that team's 35, but then you get that team's 98 or whatever. Usually it'll be another top 100 pick. So you're still going to get a player that's probably touching tags with the guy that you'd taken at 26, and now you get either like a 3rd or 4th round pick. Well, there's your Darnell White. Now, your own second, okay, you'll have 2 seconds at that point. Now, your own second, you could take a Darnell Washington. You could take a guy. Darnell does have a lot to work with, but he needs some coaching. He does.
Tight ends do take time.
So, but I mean, you would be more willing to do that if you had an extra pick. It's not going to affect you taking the guard with your second round pick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all. Depending on how the board is, I would hope that the captain trade down would ride. So
I would.
This is not a draft related question, but I know it's a little bit early. But what games have you guys decided y'all are going to this year?
Mark, he's a last minute guy.
Well, I'm definitely thinking about going to Carolina because I think we're playing in Carolina. Of course, I'll go to the Commanders game. I think we do play.
I think I'm going to San Francisco for some reason. I don't know why. I want to go to
the Santa Clara game, yeah.
And then I'll go to one in Dallas.
Go to Santa Clara only about It's only about 60 miles away. So I live in Salinas, so Santa Clara is like not that far. It's just like say like down the ways from here.
Yeah, I'm like 2,900 miles away, but yeah.
I got family in San Jose. That's not too far, right?
Yeah, that's not too far. Yeah, it's about a good hour drive. So,
yeah, I
you
mean
get,
that's fine.
Oh yeah, it's pretty fun, seeing all the other towns and stuff.
I'm
and
trying to find who they're
I wanna
playing
have a
next
meetup
year.
with
Oh, okay, here we
Mark
go.
Hutton says Tony Pollard will only be 50% in 23 due to the injury.
I don't think so.
That's my thing.
I'm hoping at least 75%.
You saw what Michael Gallup looked like, okay? It's Tony Pollard. The one thing he relies on is his quick twitch and his speed. Now, I think he's going to be okay. From everything I'm hearing, he's going to be okay. But
yeah, it's broken bone. Although I think he had a second surgery, didn't he?
Yes, he had a second one.
Yeah.
So now he's had 2 surgeries already on the leg. That's why, I'm not going to revisit
And for him
that.
being a speed back, he has to rely on his speed,
I think he'll be okay. They're saying he is, but there's no guarantee. This is a physical game. So, but yeah, our away opponents, Mark, are other than the NFC East, obviously, is Arizona at Buffalo, which I'm predicting will be in London.
That game too.
But that'll be in London.
London, never mind then.
I would think the Buffalo would be in London. That's just my opinion.
I think Dallas is gonna play Buffalo in London.
I've heard the rumor and I believe it. Carolina, so Mark was right. It's in Carolina.
It's only 6 hours down the road.
In San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers, San Francisco, and the Miami Dolphins. South Beach, here we come, baby.
I'm definitely going to Miami too.
Brian,
so yeah, I would do Carolina and or Miami.
Brian,
when they do the schedule release, maybe we.
That's the game that me and my cousin is going to this year down in Miami, and we're gonna do we also gonna do a game in Arlington this year, but we're waiting till the schedule come out.
So what do you think are home?
Both Eagles games.
So what do you think the Thanksgiving game's going to be? Our home games are Seattle, the Jets,
New
England, Los Angeles Rams.
When you said Jets, I was thinking
it's going to be
the New England Cheaters. It could be them.
It might be the Jets because they're going to have A-Rod.
That's what I was thinking.
Have Aaron Rodgers.
Or it could be Washington Commanders, something like that, or the Giants.
Well, it has to be against a team from the AFC because it's going to be on CBS this year. We played against the Wolves last year.
Michael's on top of it, so yeah, that could be.
It's going to be the Jets.
But yeah, the last team we played on Thanksgiving on CBS that was an NFC team was against the Carolina Pussycats.
Yes,
that was way back in 2014.
15 when Tony Romo got injured again on that game, and we got Matt Castle quarterbacking.
Yeah, because that was a game when Dez snapped on everybody.
Yeah, Dez was pissed. It's like I hear you, Dez. I was pissed too. I'd be pissed too, because Dez was passionate. He was passionate.
Yeah,
he was kind of like he was kind of like being like Michael Irvin. Because Michael Irvin, when he sees something go wrong, Michael Irvin will snap at you and he'll get in your face too.
Yeah, well, the primetime Phil and me were going back and forth a little bit because he was comparing a Quentin Johnson to Dez Bryant. And I said, let's not forget how dominant Dez was. But Dez's major problem was he would not rehab after getting his, any kind of surgery. He was a horrible rehab player.
Yeah.
He was the type of player who thought that the surgery was the end all and he could just lace them up and be good. No, the hard part is actually doing the rehab. The surgery does one thing. The rehab actually brings you back to where you were. It's not easy and it's painful.
It's not easy.
But that's what separates the people. And that's what shortened his career. Hell, I think Dez would tell you that. If he knew now, if he knew then what he knows now, that he probably would have been more dedicated to rehabbing following his off-season surgeries. That's the only thing wrong with Dez.
Yeah, that's the truth.
I love
because
Dez.
he was so physical when he was young. He could just out jump and out maneuver guys and go for the ball.
Mhm.
And as he got older and those injuries took place, he just was not that same guy.
He lost his explosiveness, and a lot of that is rehab.
Mm-hmm.
You don't rehab your knees right. You get scar tissue in there, and then your explosiveness is gone. So
speaking of receiver, what do you guys still think about this DeAndre Hopkins possibility? Is that 100% dead?
It's always on the table. I think that has a decent chance, whether it's to us or he's going to get traded in the draft.
Yeah, he'll be with the new team by this time next week.
I think they're going to try.
Right, I agree with. I agree, and think about it. There's a lot of shorter receivers. Whether you agree with it, whether I would agree with it, a lot of teams are not going to draft half of these receivers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to open up the door for a guy like Hopkins in the 5th round.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to make a phone call.
Yeah,
we gonna know
something. Dallas.
We gonna know something about DeAndre. We gonna know something. We gonna know something about Hop between Tuesday and Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't get a Quentin Johnson, or I'm not going to get into all the names. I know Mr. Cowboy likes Jalen Hyatt. He's really fallen big time.
Sir.
Just as his lack of route running, and he can't get off the line. Like a lot of scouts don't think he's going to be, going to get off the jam, off the line of scrimmage. He's got a lot of flaws in his game. He does have speed, but a lot of people are not going to draft him, Mr. Cowboy. That's what I'm saying. So that's going to open up a trade for DeAndre Hopkins. It just will. If Dallas doesn't get a receiver, you don't think they're going to make a phone call in the 5th round?
Yeah.
And say, well,
I just think Arizona.
He could be with the Eagles. I'm not saying just Dallas, but somebody's going to get him.
I just think that Arizona is going to try to get him off the board or, get him away before the draft. If you're going to get rid of a player like that, you want to try to get something immediately.
The only bargaining
cheaper price.
I think what's more important to Arizona, the difference between getting a 4th or a 5th, is how much guaranteed money that team is going to pick up. A team might, if you're going to give a 5th rather than a 4th, then you're going to have to pick up more of that salary.
Yeah,
and that's fine. That all goes into negotiation.
Yeah,
I think Dallas would be fine with that.
Brandon Cooks ended up eating $6 million of his contract.
A lot of teams are really just kind of trying to wait for them to go ahead and cut them. But
I wouldn't if I was Arizona. I would not. I would hold them, and I would be ready to make whatever happened to the wheeling and dealing that goes on. I mean, I would be on top of it. Say, we're trading this guy. This is the ceiling or the floor of what we want to get for him.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but a 5th round pick is a 5th round pick. That's very valuable these days.
Yep.
So
we draft pretty well in the 5th round. Yeah,
any team is going to want they treat these picks like gold.
Yeah.
That'll be stupid if they cut him.
Yeah. That would be a Cowboy thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You better about going ahead on trading him this week than cutting him, because that's like wasting money.
Not only that, there would also be dead money too against Arizona.
There's going to be some dead money regardless.
What's his cap hit for Arizona again?
Oh, I think it's like $29 million for this year.
And then what would be the dead hit money if they say they were to cut him, hypothetically?
I would have to look that up.
Hold on, give me a second.
And then on top of that,
who are we talking about? We're talking about the
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the good part about it is he already don't let it be known that once he get traded to somebody, he want to rework his contract.
Yeah, Hopkins is dead money. His cap number is just about
29.9.
Right.
His dead money is 21 pre-June.
If it's a post-June, it's 8. It's $9 million.
Yeah, but it's spread out over 2 years, so you're still paying it. So you're still eating $21 million. Now, if he is traded pre-June, the same thing. If he's traded pre-June 1st,
this is even more of a reason to trade him.
Yeah, and unless you try and get the new team to take
I
on
didn't
some of
realize
that
it was
salary.
that big, Mark.
Oh yeah, I told you it's $29 million for him.
No, I don't mean the cap number. I just mean the dead money. There's 21 million. He's getting traded, people. He's getting traded, and it won't be for a 2 or a 3. It's going to be for a 4 or a 5. Get ready. I don't know to who.
Now here's where it gets interesting. Now, if he's supposed June 1st, it's 10 million. Of course, it's spread out over the 2 years.
8.911, yeah.
You know, but that gives him more cap relief this year. But the reality is this season is a rebuilding season for Arizona. Kyler Murray's not going to be ready to start the season. And you look at Hopkins and say, I'm going to spend that kind of money. And, you know, if I just push it off for another year, it's still just as bad. And by the time we're ready to win, he's going to be over the hill. So it's time to move him and get what you can for him.
Based on our needs, we may not get a receiver. So we may be looking at this right in the face come round 4, round 5. We could very well be in the mix. I think the Eagles would be as well because they're looking for a receiver.
I'll say this much.
Have a lot of
need a
picks.
receiver right now, though.
Let's go back to
if you look at their needs, they do need a receiver.
Mark Thompson, 37 months. Shout out to you.
You know what though? The Eagles could draft a wide receiver with one of their first round picks.
Yeah. They could go with Jackson, Njibba out of Ohio State at 10. That's a possibility.
Here's the thing. You know, you guys were talking about, should we get Derrick Henry? Well, Derrick Henry would be a 1-year rental. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be
somebody young.
Okay, forget that. With Mike McCarthy and the West Coast offense, Hopkins would be more impactful than Derrick Henry would be for this team, without a doubt. You need multiple weapons, and you need a guy who can catch the ball in traffic. He catches everything. He's not going to Noah Brown shit.
He's a proven veteran.
When you're running a West Coast, you need a wave of receivers. Okay, you don't have too many plays where you're just not coming off the ball as a receiver because it's a running play. That's the hard part about the West Coast. Everybody needs to be running their routes on every play to open up, and that's really is with any offense to open up the holes in the defense. And you just can't run into, I know I'm not getting the ball, so I'm not going to do anything. So to get another receiver, you're going to need it. You're going to need as many receivers as you can. Why do we got to rely on the Noah Browns to get all the play in a big game? Let me get a DeAndre Hopkins and a Cooks and a C. If CD's winded, now we're not so bad, and he has to take a play off or he's dinged up for a play. Now we got Cooks, Hopkins,
healthy Michael Gallup.
I mean, Jalen Tolbert who's coming back.
Tolbert.
Yeah, I mean,
what have y'all heard about him?
That's where I want to go. Well, Tolbert, I'm expecting big things from Tolbert. So, did you guys hear that Dak was talking to receivers?
Yeah.
He's already talking to receivers.
Yep.
It didn't work out good last time, so I don't know about that.
But I don't think, being honest, Jalen Tolbert, if you ask me, listen to me on this, you guys, and just think about this. If you could have gave him 1/4 of the targets that you gave Noah Brown, that would have been at least giving him a chance, right? We didn't really give him a chance. He made that one mistake. He went off sides or whatever, false start or whatever. We have to give the guy a chance, I think, and know that he's a rookie, and rookies are going to make mistakes. We didn't do that last year, and we never know what we're going to actually get from this guy. But I don't know. I think he's worth giving a bit of a chance to next season. Is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's going to get a chance. He's a 3rd-round pick. He's going to get a chance.
Well, you would have thought he would have had a chance with the lack of receivers we had this year.
I would have been more comfortable with Jalen Tolbert catching the ball than Noah Brown. Because Tolbert, the guy has hands. He can catch.
He didn't know where he was going. That was his problem. It was he wasn't running the right routes, and you can't do that in the NFL. You get your quarterback killed. So you'll know in the preseason the strides he's made or hasn't made, and then you'll know he's going to get a lot of run in the preseason. So,
are you guys going to Oxnard this year?
I'm not.
It's not like it used to. It used to be you'd go to Oxnard for a week and you'd end up having 2-a-day practices that you'd see, and they would be practicing all week.
Right, Mark?
Okay, so when I went on Monday. Of course, my plane didn't land till 11 o'clock, and then by the time you drive from L.A. to Oxnard, practice is already done because practice is at 10 o'clock. And that was the first padded practice, right? Tuesday, great practice. It started out with Mike McCarthy coming out of the Porta-John that's outside there. It's like, okay, so we see what he's doing. Shout out to Mark Hutton. And you saw the big nasties getting crazy, offensive line. Everybody's going at it. It's like, yeah. Wednesday was supposed to be a scrimmage that started at 10. It started at 9, and it lasted for 40 minutes, and it was a walk-through scrimmage. Thursday was a special team practice, and Friday they left to go for preseason game. And that was it. That was it.
Right.
So when you talk about going out there for a week, I got one real practice. And that's it. So it's kind of like by the time you fly out there, get a car rental, get a place to stay.
Was it really worth it?
It was, I took my wife out there. She enjoyed the time, and stuff out there and things. But it's a lot of money for just a couple of practices. And see, the thing is you don't know. With today's NFL, it's kind of like OTAs. Like the Eagles, they just didn't do any OTAs. They literally canceled all theirs. We ended up, I think we took off early because didn't they go bowling or something one day?
Yeah.
When we were down there.
1 year they went to the beach. Yeah. 1 year they went bowling.
No, when we were down for Stewart's, that's when they were supposed to.
Right. Yeah, they were bowling.
They went bowling, one day, and then the last day we went there, we did the tour of the Star, and that was actually an OTA day, but they decided we're not doing them. So they don't practice anymore, and that's probably part of the problem with Jalen Tolbert. You get drafted, you got no time to learn what's going on, who's who, and everything else. Your eyes are wide open because you've busted your ass trying to get drafted by somebody. You don't have time to learn and pick up much. So I know he'll be better this year than he was last year. How much better? I don't know, but definitely will be better.
Yeah, Mark Hutton asked if we sign Hopkins, who would be the odd man out?
It's not an odd man out. It's a rotation. You got to understand. You're going to see 3 and 4 wideouts most of the time.
You're going to carry 6.
Yeah.
You're going to carry 6, maybe 7 counting Turpin. Maybe 7.
Yeah, it's going to be wide receiver by committee.
Because, you know who's on the hot seat? I could tell you right now. It's Semi Fehoko. He's on the hot seat. Dontario Drummond's. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of these guys can be re-signed for the practice squad. Mm-hmm. Antonio Callaway, Dennis Houston, the star last camp who couldn't get on the field. Those guys most likely would be available to come back on the practice squad. But if we had Hopkins, you'd have Hopkins, Lamb, Cooks, Gallup, Tolbert. That's 5. You got Turpin 6. And then all those other guys I was talking about you can bring back on a practice squad. That's it right there.
Okay.
There's
for all those that think that, this would be too many receivers.
No.
This is what they had their Super Bowl year with Green Bay. Greg Jennings, Donald Driver, James Jones, Jordy Nelson. Okay?
That's 4.
And that 4 good ones right there. Or was that their Super Bowl year or was it the next year? And then tight ends, they had Donald Lee, they had Andrew Corliss, and they had Jamel Finley. So
Jermichael Finley.
Yeah,
Jermichael.
Right. So it wasn't like they didn't have lots of receivers. Everybody's like, "Oh, we got Brandon Cooks. We're good." No, okay. No,
you need one more.
No, you could use another one. But see, you need a guy who can catch the ball in traffic. Cooks is more of that deep threat. Michael Gallup is kind of more of that deep threat. Who is your slot guy?
We need an impact receiver. I would rather go with a Hopkins than one of these young guys, unless it's one of the first 2. Outside of that, receiver in the NFL, you got to get lucky, man. Mm-hmm. You really do. It's a we know what he could do.
Listen, they don't come out the box like Odell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Give me Hopkins and a running back in a fourth or like in a fourth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll do that rather than take, you know, because that's what you need rather than take a receiver in round one. You know, just give me Hopkins. You know, but I don't know that it's going to happen.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Brian, because
you know,
B Hop. I know.
He wants to be here.
Because I know what he can do because he go all the way back to his college days at Clemson when he was catching balls from Taj Boyd.
Yeah,
I know what he can do.
You know, Cat Boy. You know, close your. Well, I won't say the word, but you know, Cat Boy is walking around all excited.
Boy.
He's all excited because the first thing Hopkins said is, "I don't want any more money."
Oh my God!
So you know, Cat Boy is literally walking around with a. You know what? He's very excited.
He's walking around with a.
Yeah. He's got like wet towels hanging off his stuff. You know what I mean?
And he probably has a cigar smoking.
That's
too.
Cat Boy. So he all happy because wow, we can get a 5th round. Yeah, it'll cost us money on the cap, but this guy's not asking for a raise. Just like they love the trade with the Colts for the cornerback. Yeah. No new money. Cooks.
Well,
no new money.
And the Texans $6 million of the contract too.
Yeah. So this makes perfect sense for us people. Looking at this receiver class, you're not going to get Jackson Smith and Jibba. I don't think you're going to get Quentin Johnson, but Quentin Johnson has a lot of risk too. Mm-hmm. You know, I like him a lot, but he ain't going to be D-Hop in year one, in my opinion. So if we're ready to win, go get him.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Bottom of the 5th round is what you're going to get.
Rodney, step away. He signed with the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, he's already and now he comes out and says, well, I'm not guaranteed to play with Lamar. Yeah, I think Lamar will be there or else he wouldn't have signed. Just me.
What do you guys think about what we're going to do with Anthony Brown and Lewis?
Oh, as of now, I think we're going to wait to see what happens in the draft to see what needs we got.
I think we might keep Jordan Lewis, and
I think Lewis is going to be here, and I think Brown is coming off a torn Achilles, man. He's not going to be ready to go.
I don't think Brown's going to come back. I think the Cowboys are probably going to
he'll be. He probably won't even play this year, or he'll have to work out for a team after the season starts type of deal. He's coming back from a torn Achilles. You saw Malik Hooker. It took him 2 years.
Yeah.
So
let me just say this real quick. Anthony Brown, it's not that he's a bad corner. It's that I think he's a backup player.
Well, yeah. We were using him as one of our 3 main guys. Right.
Yeah. And he also, because he's playing opposite of Diggs, is going to get all the attention.
That's true.
That's what's exciting, people, about what we're doing. Now, who are you going to go with? Bland's going to get more interceptions because they're going to be going against him probably because he's going to be man in a slot.
And he's going to be the odd man out in a way, I guess you could say.
But no, that's what he plays, the slot.
Well, let's just say if the Cowboys were to draft Darius Rush in the draft, I think Anthony Brown would be the odd man out. Yeah, he probably would be the odd man out.
Here's the thing: he's not under contract, so you're not. You don't have to do anything.
Yeah,
you know, you can let him heal himself and see what happens. You don't know what injuries we're gonna have, so let him get healthy, and we could bring him in the middle of the year if we have an injury or something.
Yep,
he made money. He made some money, so he needs to rehab. I'm sure Dallas will let him. They're not going to, I'm sure that, they're going to let him use it until he signs with the team. Yeah. I'm sure he'll still be with us rehabbing. So,
most definitely. All right. So, Brian.
Yes.
You working tomorrow?
I am.
You working Tuesday?
I am.
Okay. Are you getting your shit together?
Yeah. I'm actually got my bags out. I'm trying to make a list of everything, and because I'm out of here probably 5:30 on Wednesday, so I'm heading your way. So I'll be there by 9, so we can roll out 9:30, whatever you want.
Okay.
How much of a drive will it be, Mark? How many hours?
Long drive.
It is about a little over 1,000 miles, so like 16 hours.
About 12 hours.
It's like going
No,
from.
it's like
It's actually closer for me than going to Florida. Florida is usually about 17 for me. So, well, yeah, that's not bad at all. Especially when you got multiple people driving. So, it'll be fun.
You know what? It's kind of crazy. Now that I work for Southwest Airlines, I'm actually going to be in Dallas starting next Sunday through like next Thursday, and I have that Friday off.
Nice.
So I probably could skip to Kansas City for a little bit and maybe catch a little bit of the draft.
That's a decent ride though. That's like what, 7 hours, Mark?
Yeah, something like that.
6 hours. I agree, Mark Hutchin. Bland is better than Brown.
Bland was the very bright spot that
he
we got in the draft.
Yeah, we got him in the 5th round. So if we can get another 5th round like that, I don't care what position it is. You know.
Well, I'm hoping that the Cowboys will probably get another edge rusher. I wouldn't mind getting the guy from Bowling Green.
I think we have enough edge rushers, personally. I mean, I think we have enough edge rushers, but I mean, like I always say, one more will never hurt, right?
Yeah,
but you
exactly.
know what? Though? I think this might be DeMarcus Lawrence's last year with the Cowboys. I think after next year he's gone.
They're gonna have to pay him to say goodbye, but at least a little bit of money. But I want us to just beef up with defensive tackles and like people on the interior defensive line, and if we can have them sitting nice like the pass rushers are, like that was our Achilles heel, y'all, last season. Early in the season, before we got Hankins, people were just running the damn ball down our damn throats, and that's why we lost some games early on last season. Now, if we could just show that up, we got the receivers already now. We got the pass rushers. We got the quarterback. We got some decent running backs. That's the one part that we're just getting our ass kicked at, y'all. The defensive tackles and interior defensive linemen. If we can show that up, I don't think you could keep us out of the NFC Championship game, personally. That's just
Michael. You like Carl Brooks? Is that who you like?
Yeah, from Bowling Green.
Yeah, 6'4", 300. Yeah, I'm surprised he's. I don't know if he had an injury because he had dropped, but yeah, I like him too.
Yeah, I think he had like 14 and a half sacks or something.
Yeah, he is a beast. But you play for Bowling Green, but still.
But you know what? Though you can find you can find great players from smaller schools, and that's what the Cowboys did back in the 70s. They found a lot of good talent from smaller schools.
Are you thinking draft that guy because D-Law might be gone soon, or draft him just to get an extra pass rusher?
Yes.
Oh, Brian.
Yes.
I was on.
Both.
Landlord from Alabama, don't you?
Yes.
I was on his YouTube page last night. They was talking about linemen. What do you think about the lineman from North Dakota State?
What the interior, or is he an edge?
Offensive lineman, the guy with no teeth in his mouth.
Oh.
Guy with no teeth? What the heck? How did he lose his teeth?
Well, I mean, he don't have to use a mouthpiece, I guess.
Oh, you're talking about, is it Cody Malk, maybe?
Yeah, that's him. Cody Malk.
Yeah. I'd have to look him up. Let me see. Cody. Oh, yeah. 6'5", 302. Yeah. I know I know Dallas worked him out. So he was one of those guys that I was saying everybody's getting caught up with the first round. He's one of those guys that is linked to the Cowboys. So
here's a funny one. Here's an Eagle fan. Connor Carr says, Mark Holmes, I don't think you realize if Derrick Henry goes to Philadelphia, they will win it all, and it'll be the best offense in the league by far. You remember when we ended up having DeMarco Murray coming off of an 1,800-yard season and went to Philadelphia? Yep. Weren't they saying that same thing? Weren't they saying that same thing? Oh my God, we got DeMarco Murray.
Coordinator. Like, you're going to have Coach, beat Cowboys. They call him like in charge of your offense. So we'll see. Let's not get too carried away. James Steichen's gone. So
we'll see.
We'll wait and see. That's what makes it fun, right, guys? We could be right. We could be wrong.
I got a question real quick. What would you guys think about us picking up some linebacker in the draft somewhere?
Yeah, but I think we're going to get a linebacker.
Think so?
Yep.
I think we're a linebacker too, but I think we'll get a linebacker too, but not in the first round.
No.
Probably in the
Definitely not
later
in the
rounds,
first.
you know, we can probably get a linebacker because there's one linebacker that's actually kind of flying under the radar too, and that's the linebacker from Cincinnati. I think his last name is Pace.
Yeah, Ivan Pace Jr.
Ivan
yeah.
Pace?
Yeah. We could take, starting in round 2, we could take anybody. I don't think he'll be there. Anybody from Drew Sanders to Dalen Henley, who I love. You know, I'm not as big on Trenton Simpson, but I don't know what the Cowboys think. I really love Dorian Williams out of Tulane, Ivan Pace Jr. out of Cincinnati. You know, and then later on, I love the guy out of Indiana, Cam Jones. There's a lot of those guys, but yeah, absolutely, man. I could see us. We need a guy. You can't count on, even though we re-signed him, you can't count on Leighton Vander Esch year in and year out.
Yeah.
Give me a sideline guy to be able to bring in, you know.
Well, it's kind of crazy. I wouldn't mind moving LVE back to outside linebacker, y'all. I think he plays better out there for some reason. I don't know why. I think if we were to get Bobby Wagner.
Too slow out there. You need a backside guy who can move. He's better in the middle. You need actually a thumper in the middle.
You think LV is a thumper?
Thanks, Regina.
That's where Damone Clark should actually be on the backside because he's fast. So you need that guy that can cover the receivers coming out the backfield.
Linebackers are like receivers to me. You need a bunch of them because they take a beating, man. Those linebackers, man. You know, but we need a defensive interior and a fast linebacker. If we can get 2 of those guys, we can get away with not drafting a corner. We really could with everybody that we have. You know.
That yawn is going to be contagious. Everyone's going to start yawning now.
Yeah, I'm out of here. I have to go.
I've got to get ready for the draft. See, I've got stuff here. I'm trying to check out equipment and everything.
All right, Joe.
But I appreciate everybody being here.
I'll hang in until we can talk.
All right, everybody, I appreciate it.
You're an 23-hour
lockdown. You and Brian Green will have a safe trip to Kansas City, Mark.
Thanks, Michael.